from the Dropkick Murphys, and I love the Grandstanders! Take it away, kid.
Team's up by 10. He's still floats one out there with no time on the clock. Instead of just walking.
All right, I'm on the show. It's live. Uncle Joe's talking as if he's not going to talk enough. My name is Scott Kerwin, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, Uncle Joe McLaughlin.
The very talkative Uncle Joe.
The Professor Russ Stevens, and he's JP's first son, Tim Hoey. Well, we have another great show for you tonight, which started a minute earlier. So, boys, let's get it started, Uncle Joe. We start with this breaking news from the Grandstanders live desk. Danny Ainge is now the new president and a governor of the Utah Jazz. If that's not the Old Boys Network, I've never seen
the
it.
overseer.
Yeah, he got
The GM stayed. The GM stayed.
Timmy, had you been a Mormon, you might have gotten the job.
Yeah,
ahead of him.
He had a major qualification in his favor.
So I wonder, was he living in Utah? Had he moved back to Utah?
Yes, a week after he got fired here,
he was gone.
He was back in
He was
Utah.
gone.
Yeah, and he got the job.
Visiting the temple.
I mean, it
It's
really.
bad for the NBA.
Well, yeah, it looks bad for the NBA. It also pretty much confirms I think they asked him out. They asked him to leave. The Celtics did. I think something like this.
He wasn't ready to go smell the roses yet.
Yeah, it wasn't due to his health
Yeah,
issues.
I mean, I'm sure it was mutual, but I'm sure the Celtics were also happy
the
about
grand
it.
scheme just crumbled to the ground when we
Yeah.
were in that beautiful position of building a team with the draft picks and everything, and it just crumbled.
But the whole rumors, I don't know if it was rumors, but that he was basically playing golf the last couple of years. He had a heart attack. He wasn't given the effort that he had to give in the GM position. And we saw that in what the product he put on the court.
Now, if we look at it, was Kyrie Irving like the death of Danny Ainge?
Yeah.
I mean, and with the Celtics,
That was the beginning of the end, anyways.
Yeah, that was his big move, Russ.
That was-
Right? To me, that's a great point. Yeah.
Well, he made the move for a guy that everyone knew could have been a problem, and to make that move, he had to sacrifice some other things. So,
but
it
he
didn't
hadn't
turn
been
out.
that level of problem at that point.
No, he hadn't been that level of problem.
Other
And
than
they really didn't give up that much for him
No,
either.
no, they actually did. They gave up the 5th pick in the draft.
Colin Sexton.
Which would be Colin Sexton. They gave up other Cizik and other guys.
Well, Jay Crowder went in
Crowder,
that deal.
right.
Isaiah
But, when
Thomas
we were
went in
looking
that
at
deal.
that, though, we were searching for that level of player to achieve the next status. And Kyrie was one of those few special players in the NBA, all we thought at the time.
Yeah. Look,
Yeah,
well, you
he still
can't.
is.
None of us should second guess that deal. We were all thrilled
we were
by
all
that
thrilled
deal.
about
Look,
it,
he had some bad luck, right? Couple of the picks that looked like they could have been, top 5 picks ended up at 14,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
But what you can blame him for is that he was not, in the end, aggressive enough at using those picks as assets, either to move up or to trade for players.
So
Yeah, like
Pierce
a
and
Jimmy
Garnett
Butler.
turned into Tatum and Brown.
Yeah, the Pierce Garnett trade turned into Tatum and Brown. He made a good pick with Marcus Smart as the 6th pick in the draft. I mean, highly valuable
He
player.
screwed up with James Young, which was one of those.
Yeah,
picks.
but they're
Well,
in.
remember that year he had 5 second-round picks, and he ate them all.
He
He
ate
had
them
to
all.
use every one of them.
He clearly should have used those picks to get players or move up. That was his major failure, right?
You couldn't pull the trigger on
He was
deals.
on the street because of the Grant Williams draft, where he drafted Tybull. Could you imagine Tybull in this team?
Yep.
And traded him so he could go down and get Carson Edwards.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, he gave them to our competitor, the Sixers. And this Thibault, they're talking about defensive player of the
He
year.
didn't move up to get Tyler Harrow, which was one slot ahead of him, and he had all manner of picks. Anyone would have, he could have offered 3 picks to move up.
Yeah.
And instead we have Romeo Langford.
Who he wanted. They wanted Hero.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I heard that a guy that was in the next room said the Celtics were throwing chairs, everything when that Herald
Well, they
pick
should have
came
moved up. I mean,
Yeah.
why would they be surprised?
They didn't.
They
think
didn't have the
that
pick.
Miami was
Belichick
gonna
wouldn't have
take
left it to that.
Well, that's a great point. He
Right.
did because he
Christian
wanted
Barmore, he wants them. Get him.
I mean, think about what he gave up for Barmore. He gave up his second-round pick and 2 fourth-round picks.
Yeah.
If you think about the NBA, it's a 1-player-a-year draft for your team, pretty
At
much.
best.
Yeah.
At best, usually.
So why not give up everything to get one player?
And it
Because
really is it's about the top 15 players.
That's it.
If that. And
If
we're
that.
seeing
It's
that
really
number
tough.
once
14
every
doesn't
3
do
years,
That
a
14's
guy
a
will
death.
come out of
Yeah.
the bottom who will be a star. Giannis
Yeah.
was a 14, I think, or something like
that.
that.
Yeah, 11. Yeah, you can get lucky with the
You get a
Leonards and
Tony
stuff.
Parker. There's a few of them out there.
Or European that sneaks into it.
But
you
the,
know.
the drafting did him. And look, you still have to say his tenure was successful. They got a championship. He got them Tatum and Brown. So it was a successful tenure.
Well,
but his drafts just
How many
faded
years
at the
was
end.
he? 25 years, 1 championship. That's not.
Yeah, but look, they would have
Top
won
notch.
another 1 or 2.
Should've
KG
won.
getting injured. They had by far the best team.
But the
that
Perkins
year.
deal is
Oh.
a huge screw.
The Perkins
cost
deal
him-
to me is your John Lester deal. I mean,
Yeah.
I felt like the heart of that team was removed when they took
And
Perkins.
that made no sense.
And
I mean,
he was
people
the
talk
kind of
about
guy
money.
that
Joe
would've
might
beat
be able to explain the
Lakers.
money part of it, but I mean, he was a he was a quiet, humble guy who knew his lunch pail duties out there, and he came and did it every day.
He thought that he was going for the future with Green.
Which is unbelievable.
And Green was a
at,
stiff.
at the deadline, you're thinking about the future when you're supposed to win
Yeah.
the title this year.
Green,
Right.
really, Perk would have helped him that year for sure.
Sure, he made some mistakes. I would still say he was a much better than average GM over time, and set this franchise up to continue to be good for a while.
Yeah, I think we were giving him on average B+.
Oh, that one
plus,
deal
A-minus,
alone with Pierce and Garnett for
Well, he just
all
happened
those
to run
draft
into a
picks.
Russian moron who,
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, but Danny, after that deal, he thought every deal he was supposed to win at that level, and it just wasn't happening.
And he didn't pull the trigger on any of them, and they were stuck with all these stiffs.
He thought there was a bunch of those Russian oligarchs sitting around waiting to give their whole team away.
Came
for
in
two,
the first place in the G League every year with all
two
these crap.
aging stars, you
It
know.
was also
and-
the fans' problem too, calling him Trader Danny when he wasn't making any trades.
Yeah.
How much are you going to live with that reputation? Well, good luck to Danny in Utah. Utah's historically has 4 to 5 guys at the end of the bench, white guys who don't play. I don't
Well,
know if they
you're
play
right. I think they
college.
do have the second best record in the West. Now, what Brad Stevens should do is get Danny on the phone and make like a KG trade. Get Donovan Mitchell from Utah. Say, hey, Danny, how about drilling us Spider Mitchell? What do you need from him?
Yeah.
And make the same trade that Ainge made with McHale, his
Yeah,
old
right.
buddy.
Great point. Would you give up Brown? Absolutely.
For Donovan Mitchell? No.
You would not give up
no,
Brown
he-
for Donovan Mitchell?
No. He's
Donovan
Mitchell's
Mitchell is a one-dimensional player.
he's not the player Jalen Brown is.
He'd be a nice.
He'd be a nice third.
Oh yeah, nice. That offense would hum. You couldn't be able to
I
stop.
don't know about that. I don't know.
So
about
what would
that.
you have to give together?
I don't know.
Everything but Jalen Brown or Jason Tatum is what I would do.
Give
but I
him
wouldn't have.
everything that he, all the groceries.
But
he
why
got,
would Utah
give
get rid of
back.
him? Why would Utah get rid of him if they're second in the West?
No, because Danny's a Boston guy, just like Kevin
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 did us the
McHale was.
favor, right?
Yeah.
Gave us KG.
Well, I didn't even mean to talk about the Celtics, but yeah, this is
Yeah,
big
it came
news.
up.
Absolutely, and Danny has been part of. This,
I've always liked Danny Ainge.
Yeah, he's been
as
part
a
of
guy,
the whole
you know.
sports world here since 1981.
A guy who could have
Amazing.
played professional baseball.
He was playing professional.
Yeah,
He was
well, they
playing
said he could have been maybe an NFL player too if he had chosen
He
to.
was playing for the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him in the game.
Yeah, was he a quarterback too? Or?
I don't know, but he was
Probably
a third
with his
baseman.
kind of
third baseman,
his
shortstop.
athleticism, and
Yeah.
he played a little outfield too. I remember.
Is
He
that
was
right?
off the charts athletically, yeah.
All right, so we go to the Patriots. Maybe you've heard of them. First of all, Patriots are now they were 2-point underdogs. Now they're 2.5. The money keeps on going. And am I missing something here?
Well, no, Indy is making a very big deal of this. This is like the Super Bowl there. Everyone in Indianapolis is making a huge deal of this because they have a chance. They've lost 8 in a row, but this year they have a chance. So the rivalry's back on for this one.
It's the hammer versus the nail. We have the Colts number. We've always had their number. You know, Russell, there are certain teams that give you trouble no matter what their record are.
Yeah.
And there's some teams, no matter what their record are, we have their number. Andrew Luck was there.
Yeah.
Their second best quarterback in their history, and they never won a game.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain the line. Other than they're off a bye, we're off a bye. They're playing at home.
Must win for both
Must
teams.
win. Well, yeah, it's must win for Indy. I mean, Indy's done if they don't win this game. The Patriots are not done if they don't win this game.
Maybe not, because you can figure the teams that are with them, like the Browns.
Yeah, I know, but a 7-7 record with a bad conference record, the Indy's in a tough
the
spot.
Titans have that
I'm
soda.
wondering if that three-pass game against Buffalo kind of hurt Mac Jones' perception on a national level.
I don't know.
I don't think so. That
was just one of these.
I know it was. We know it was, but you wonder.
anomaly.
See, but take a half step back. Like, what do we have with the Patriots? Are the Patriots an A+ team? Are the Patriots? I think the Patriots are an A- team on an A+ run.
Right.
Right. I think that
I
they're
might say B+ on it.
B+, and there's still some things that we don't know about this team, but they are on a hell of a run. Is that run really going to extend for 4 more games?
I think they're a top 5 defense, and when you have a top 5 defense, then you can go
For sure.
where you need to go.
Now, I'm
I
not
think
so sure. I'm afraid of the boogeyman type thing.
I think, but that was that whole we all knew it. That was a false world we were living
they
in.
were playing a lot of bad
But
teams.
we saw the
bad
we saw the offense was sputtering through every one of those games too. Like we saw it, there was no one to throw to. We had no tight ends, we had no receivers, we had no anybody when that was going on. At least that's how I knew as soon as we played a good team. Like
Brady
over.
was kind of sulking that year too. He was happy.
because he had nobody to throw to. Everyone was running the wrong patterns, and he was very frustrated. This team, I think this team's a much more solid team than that one was.
But also we have health. A lot of teams have
The healthiest team in the league,
depleted.
pretty much.
Depth.
It might
Depth.
be the oldest team in the league. Jeez, they got some. Like
I don't think they're the oldest team, but
McCourty, Slater, Hightower. I bet you all 3 of them don't come back next year.
No, right, but they're still contributing. Well, McCourty's
yeah.
been back and forth a little bit, but you look when you talk about safeties, Duger and Phillips make up for
And Dugan's
whatever.
coming back this week.
Duger and
J.C.
Phillips have
Jackson.
been some of the top safeties.
That's
in
another
all
thing,
football.
though. Their prime key positions, J.C. Jackson, Trent Brown, James White, they're all free agents at the end of this year. This is going to be a big turnover.
Well, I'm not worried about.
No, we're not worried about next year.
I'm
We're
worried
worried
about
about
this
this
year.
year.
Do they have a team that can win a Super Bowl?
Well, here's the one big question that I have, and it's been talked about a little bit. But how confident are we that they can come from more than 10 points behind late in the game? Because, by the way, they've only been down more than 7 points twice this year.
And only once
New Orleans,
they came back.
New Orleans, and Houston. Right, the New Orleans was very early. They didn't come all the way back. Houston was reasonably early, and they stink. So
they
how?
just
So put yourself. So it's
Now,
a
I know I'm
fourth
gonna get
quarter.
Scotty,
Timmy.
yeah.
It's a fourth quarter, Timmy, and the Patriots are down 11, and Mac needs to sling the ball around for a full quarter. Can they come back on against a good defense?
The other team knows Mac's throwing. They know he's throwing. The jury's still out on this, I believe.
Right.
Oh, of course it is. The guy's played.
I know it
13
is,
games,
but-
14 games.
So
I mean, Mac has had some nice games. Has
And
he
it's on the
carried?
road to come from behind.
I don't know if he's quite at carry the team like
That's the
like
big
an
question.
Aaron
right.
Rodgers and a Tom Brady level. I mean, I don't expect it. He's a rookie. We don't ask many rookies to do that. We're watching a lot of rookies flop terribly this year. I watched the game with my boy in it, the Golden Boy, the other night. He threw like
Trevor Lawrence, yeah.
4 picks in it. I mean, I'm not ready to put the crown on Mac Jones' head quite yet.
Look,
I know this is upsetting, Scott.
look. They're trying to keep Mac Jones very.
Yes.
Yeah, don't want to
reserved.
ruin his confidence.
Okay, but he hasn't even done the hurry up offense, guys.
Right.
So
That's what I'm
you can
saying.
do the hurry up offense. It doesn't have to be in a
Right.
situation where you're trailing. They do that in almost any NFL game, but they're not doing that with Mac Jones. And yes, absolutely.
That's the big question. That might be
situationally. He has looked good like the last 2 minutes.
Look,
of the half
he
of the
played
game.
well against Dallas in a game that he had to sling it. He played well against Tampa in a game he had to sling it. Again, that was early in the season. So where are they now?
But he's
And
put up big.
he has,
numbers.
absolutely. But, that may be I'm just trying to come up with reasons why they're 2.5-point underdogs.
Yeah. Well, they don't want to get into that position. They're going to try to control the ball.
In the Patriots' favor, I think our tight ends are coming on stronger. I think Bourne is coming on stronger. So in our running game, we have the two-headed monster with the two running backs and Stevenson. The offensive line is playing great. The defense is playing great.
Brandon
so
Bolden.
we're just not BB. Sorry for that.
Because if you say BB for the Patriots, you think
It's just could we have used Odell Beckham Jr.? Could we have used Odell? How would Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah, but
this
they
team
may
right now change this?
Sure, but he
change
may
how
not
we're
have wanted to
looking
come. I mean, they may have had just as good of an offer.
at it? Yeah, he looked pretty good the other
He
night.
would be an upgrade from Aguilar, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I know. I don't have any problem with Aguilar right now.
He's fine.
The thing about him was, did he catch the ball?
but
when
you
he
throw a
threw it?
couple. You throw one or two, top 40 receivers on this team.
You throw that in any team, and you
I know, but that seems to be the one spot where we're a little.
This is a kind of game I could actually see them being down by 10 points. Taylor runs on them, they get a couple, they get a turnover or something, and the Patriots could find themselves down by 10 points in third or fourth quarter. How do we feel about that?
I don't think that's happening. They're going to make Carson Wentz beat you.
That's what they're going to do.
Carson
That's
Wentz
exactly.
I don't know. Can they stop that running game? These are all pro offensive linemen going to be pushing them around.
Exactly.
And an all-pro running back.
I'm not 100% convinced we can stop a great running team
Tennessee,
from running the ball.
they didn't even have their prime running back in there.
They
We had a
didn't even have
hard
their
time
second
with
or
In
that.
the
third
history
running
of the New
back.
England Patriots 20-year run,
You're
every
right.
time
You're right.
they've had to stop a running back, the Jerome Bettis, everyone, they've always stopped. the
Other
running
than
back.
Ray Rice in that playoff game.
Yeah, right.
We have to talk about that.
Well, you don't remember the days when O.J. Simpson ran for 200
No, I
yards?
remember.
I remember
And the
those
Patriots
days.
guaranteed he will never do it again. So he ran for
I'm
200
talking
In
about
the
8
snow,
years.
to
Yeah.
boot, in the
last
snow.
20 years.
Yeah.
They
No,
always
you're right.
shut down
If
the
they
running
decide to go in and stop a running back,
take
9
over
times
that.
out of 10 they've done it.
It's
Yeah.
gonna take Carson Wentz. He's a capable
back.
quarterback.
They're going to make
sometimes.
him beat them. Obviously, they're going
They'll
to.
get if
They're
it-
going to have 8 in the box.
3
right, Joe?
interceptions.
They're going to have 8 in the box.
No,
You don't think so?
no.
They'll
They'll
be-
have there's 7 in the box, and they're going to ask those defensive tackles. They're going to put 3 defensive tackles in the game. It'll be Guy,
Davis.
Gotcha.
Davis, and
Godchaux.
Godchaux. Instead of having defensive ends, so those 3, and they'll say, push us around, please, try. And if, Indy can.
You figure Bentley's going to need to have a good game. That's a big game for Bentley in the middle, stopping
Yeah.
the run, right?
Yeah, if those guys, take up the offensive lineman, he should be able to shoot the gap and nail
Yeah.
Taylor in the
So
backfield.
Uche was going to come back. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's not even on the game day
He was
roster.
activated, yeah.
But maybe he's not on the game.
He might not be on the game day
Yeah.
roster.
Yeah, because you like you said, you need more weight, right?
Yeah, he's waiting for. They're waiting. They'll bring him in when someone gets hurt. He's there on the roster now as depth. That's an old linebacking crew there. Collins, Van Noy,
Collins is back.
yeah.
Yeah.
That could
Collins is key too.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean,
He's a big third down replacement to put in there.
Got some
that
speed.
can
He's
do
got some wheels
things.
still, right?
we have weapons.
No one's saying that.
It's a
and
good
I think
defense.
the Patriots are going to win because I don't think Baltimore's defense is as good as it's shown. They lead the league in takeaways. They've been lucky, I think.
Indianapolis, yeah.
Yeah, Indianapolis. They
Old
lead
habits
the
die
league.
hard.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, Burt Jones, I still hate him.
And look, like you said, both teams had the break, but
Both teams had a bye. Indy really they'll throw every single thing they can at.
Oh, yeah.
at
Now,
this
can
game.
we go back? Can we go way back when Brady and the Colts? The Colts were always favored when it was Brady against Peyton Manning. Always AFC Championship. They were always the Patriots were always disrespected. Always Peyton Manning. I don't know if there was ever a game where Peyton Manning wasn't favored to beat the Patriots.
Well, Tom Brady knew because if you remember, he talked about Manning almost in the past tense and said, well, he'll be retiring soon and I'll be playing forever. And he was freaking right.
But
he knew.
the national media loved Peyton Manning.
Always,
They never
they
gave
loved
they never gave Brady the love. They do now, but they didn't back then. They
No, they always
Manning was up
considered
here.
Peyton the
Forrest
better
Gump was
quarterback.
the number one movie too. You know,
Yeah.
he was a likable character.
Always they were favored over the Patriots.
But let's BB, the other BB, the guy who coaches.
The coach?
The guy who's
The
superstar.
the other BB.
Frank Reich against Bill Belichick.
Reich's
we
a
always
good
talk about
Reich's a good coach.
Yeah.
he's going to have.
And Reich engineered
He's a
the
good
greatest
coach.
comeback
He's
in
not
the
a
history of the
bozo. He's not a
playoffs.
bozo like a lot of these guys are bozos.
He's.
I thought the Patriots come back
28
to
to 3.
Atlanta.
No. Frank Reich was down 31.
I guess with the Bills, yeah. He was
And
the backup
Houston.
he was the
Look,
backup
Reich's the guy who designed the offense that beat us in the Philly Super Bowl.
Yep.
That was on him.
He
That
was
that
the
was his
offensive
offense.
Wait, is Peterson on that staff?
No,
You sure?
no, I don't think Doug Peterson's on the
He's on
Indy staff.
someone's-
No, I think he is on
Is
that
he?
staff.
Interesting.
Might
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. No, I think I saw.
But that
Rick
was his
Book.
offense that beat us. He's a good coach. I mean, everyone respects the guy as a coach.
Yeah.
He's done a good job with his team.
And he's only the coach because of Josh McDaniels.
No
not taking
kidding.
The job.
Yeah, that's true.
And let me just tell
Oh,
you
that fuels the fire in Indy too.
that Urban Myers.
Ooh.
Well, you can talk about this for a while.
All I have to do is talk to you, Timmy. Once he resigns, will he be going to rehab within the hour?
You know, I don't know if it's just a boost
see
thing
that?
for him. I don't know he's an angry dude though. This guy, the balls of this guy to call his assistant coaches in there and make them tell him, who's
One by
never
one,
been in the
stand up like
NFL,
kindergarten.
who was a bully, was hated by his players, was hated by his assistants in college. He must have, been a great salesman in the living room with the parents getting those star players to come there. What an arrogant piece
Would you
of
hear what happened
human
today?
waste this. No, I didn't hear what
Oh,
happened.
with the kicker.
The field goal kicker.
Yeah, apparently kicked the guy
He kicked him.
in a warm
That's
up.
got to be
And
it.
he
I mean,
called
how
him-
does this guy still have a
He
job?
called them
It was in-
dipshit.
it was in,
Instead
spring
of calling
training.
the field goal kicker, he called the whole special teams by dipshit and all these names instead of calling them their names.
This guy. I mean, it's
No,
just
he's
one-
bad. He's
Oh, yeah.
gone.
He doesn't
I
have a
missed-
chance of
I
that.
missed the plane. I wanted to stay with my grandkids, and also grope that cute girl at the bar.
Yeah,
I
all you
mean,
need to know is the guy chose not to fly back with his team on the plane after the game.
And in a press conference
That's all you need to
after
know.
the game last week, they asked him if a certain player was going to get more snaps. He said, "Yeah, well, we gave him more snaps this week. He had 0 snaps. The guy played.
this is the kind of guy we've all had a boss like him.
Hey, Belichick
Yep.
used to love him when he was at Florida. Remember, he used to
'cause
spend
he's getting the
weeks
inside.
there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
because
you end up with Hernandez
He signed off
and-
on Aaron Hernandez. This guy is a bad.
Scotty,
dude.
we've all had a boss like this guy, where the guy just made your life miserable to be around him. And every mistake was your fault. He could tell you, go do that, and you go do it, and then it would come out wrong, and he'd yell at you for doing it. You know what I mean? This is a guy who cannot take accountability. It seems like he's incapable of looking in the mirror and going, I made a mistake. I don't think that's possible in his brain.
And the infamous John Larroquette in Stripes when he was that kind of personality.
Yeah.
When he tripped over the bush.
Yeah.
And he said, "Have that removed."
Yeah, you just want to punch him. You just want to punch him in the face whenever you see him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I'm not to blame for going over the
Yeah.
bush. It shouldn't have been there. Absolutely.
No, you can be a tough leader too. Don't get me wrong. I've had coaches and leaders who were tough on me, but to get the best out of me, not for their glorification, to get the most out of me or whatever. This
It
guy.
worked in college. It's not working in the pros.
Well,
Obviously.
it worked with Tim Tebow. Did it? Well, it worked at Ohio State too,
Yeah,
I guess.
he
you
got
know what I
national
mean?
championships.
Look, at
at
the end
both
of the day,
places.
not many of those great college coaches become great.
Yeah,
pro
well, they said he
coaches.
doesn't
That's
know how
just
to deal
the
with the
bottom
dogs.
line.
He can yell at kids. He's not yelling at men.
Yeah.
They're not going to
Exactly.
take his
That's
shit.
it,
You
I
know what
Another
I mean?
reason why does Jacksonville have a pro franchise? It's ridiculous.
I know, it's just a little swamp
It's
holler.
Also, just this breaking news from the Grandstanders live desk: Las Vegas will have the 2024 Super Bowl.
Wow,
That's
I
gonna
bet
be
that'll
crazy.
be sold out, and every freaking gambling maniac on the planet is going to want to.
But they have sold out. The NFL just full blown sold out. We're not even going to hide it anymore.
I know.
This opens up a Pandora box so wide when you're talking about refereeing, calls.
It's no joke when on Sunday morning there's 15 channels with 10 guys on each channel talking about the point spreads on every game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, that's what drives this thing.
Yeah.
Even people that don't, I don't really gamble, but I bet on the NFL. You know? I mean,
Put the
fantasy
genie back in the
football?
bottle.
No, it's all over. It's out.
If the Super Bowl's there, even the sports books around town, it'll be $1,000 to sit at a table. I bet you.
I don't
It'll
like
be
how all this
$1,000
is developing.
to reserve a
You know,
table.
This is changing the way we love sports and how we talk sports. And I feel bad sometimes in our thread, me talking about gambling. Like I'm all of a sudden in it more than I
well,
used
like
to
the
be, too.
marijuana,
And
like
I
anything,
apologize
the
to
government
everyone
wants
doing
the
it.
government wants their chunk of the pie now. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
weed, they weren't making any money off it. Legalize it. You know what I mean? Now the gambling, they have the
Weed costs them money.
instead of the number, now there's the lottery. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, no, it's the genie's out of the bottle. It's never coming. It's never getting back in. And your question, you're asking the right question, which is, will it affect the referee? Will it affect what happens on the field between players, refs, GMs, owners?
you know, you wonder if referees will come on. You know, like start having almost people follow them around. You know,
There's
to
gonna be
make sure no
violence,
one's
too.
touching
There's
them.
gonna be
You know what I
violence.
mean?
Yeah, you're seeing more and more guys run on the field and stuff and like that.
Yeah.
And in Europe,
I
they
could
attack
see we get to
referees.
the
You're gonna
point
see
where,
that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
referees might have to take a polygraph before a game.
It's going to be ugly.
That's the level of money that might eventually be
At
on
the
these
very
games.
least, you're going to have to make all referees and umpires and stuff full-time employees.
All right,
For
how about,
sure. You cannot.
How
Umpires
about
are
making them take a
full-time employees.
polygraph every week?
Something like that. Yeah.
Oh,
But you
or
have to-
drug testing too. I bet you which they are not subject to now.
Yeah.
If you remember, all those NFL referees used to be insurance salesmen. That's easy. I'll buy your insurance. My company will buy your
Yeah,
insurance
not
if
anymore.
you can make one call for us during the game.
Yeah, not anymore.
Yeah, right.
It's too much money at stake.
Absolutely. They have. They can't.
Yeah,
just-
the referees aren't making enough money as a part-time job. No, don't get me wrong. The NFL gives them good money, good perks.
I think
But gamblers can give them better.
I think they do a good job on the whole. I mean, sometimes I'm amazed at the calls they get right.
I think they can affect the game more than the other.
What you'll probably see is just more and more electronic refereeing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I was gonna
more
say the same.
eye in the sky, more cameras, more automatic calls. You know, they're going to start to take as many like game-changing calls out of the refs' hands as possible, right? Just
Will
for
pass
this reason.
interference
That's a
become
great point.
reviewable?
Right.
I mean, every pass
Make pass
interference
interference reviewable or make it not a spot foul all the time.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
give them
really
20
the
yards.
biggest penalty.
It should be a 10-yard. It's like college.
Yeah,
But you
10
can
yards.
I
call,
agree with you,
you can call
absolutely.
holding on every play though.
Yeah.
That's
You
the
could.
problem.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When do you call it, and that affects the game.
But Bill Belichick is, for as long as I can remember, going back 20 years, has been saying, just put a camera
On the goal line.
on the goal line and the sidelines. That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
And that will eliminate like 90%.
Put a chip in the ball.
And, yeah,
That
and
doesn't
goalposts.
always work because it's the drag in the feet and the things.
But it
like
would help.
that.
It would
Put a
help
chip on the
spots.
tip of the ball.
Oh,
Right.
that helps. Did it break the plane?
Yeah, no, that's
Put a
what
chip
that's
on
what
the
we're
two
saying.
tips, you know what I mean?
That's what we're
So
saying.
what are they doing?
I almost took
Oh my God,
out.
you're gonna break my San
I almost
Diego
took out
Chargers.
Mr. Charger there.
All these are sacred.
San Diego Superchargers.
San Diego
None-
Supercharger.
None of our bobbleheads are broken at all. Not one.
Oh, we
Not
do
one.
have a. Oh, he's still got a head too.
We got to get this
is
guy.
that
We,
Louis?
we got to
No,
get.
Is that Louis?
That's Xander with
With
Louis'
Louis'
head.
head roll.
We got to get Napoli a hook. We got to Scott. We got to glue a little hook on him. A little
And Louis
Dr.
T.
Hook.
I was gonna say that looks like Louis, but he wasn't number 2.
Oh, you don't only get this in this show, you know. I know. He's repulsive.
We've gone off the rails.
All right.
That must have been Handsome Todd's work.
And first of all, did you get the Jimmy G? So we're gonna do when we do predictions now. Did you see the shirt? Where's the shirt?
I don't know where the shirt is.
I think
Scotty.
Todd has it.
Todd took it.
Todd has it. Okay, so
Here he comes.
Todd, here we go. So when we do predictions from now on, Russ has a crush on Jimmy G. It's been long and very
Anybody
well
who's
documented.
watched more than 1
Although
minute of
Brandon
the show,
Bolton has kind of taken
anyone
money
who's
to
watched
fix
more than 1 minute of
Scotty,
the
have you
show
kicked
knows
him
what
to the
that
curb?
full
Have you-
story
You
is.
have kicked him to the curb.
No, we. You.
Yeah,
You and
I-
Adrian.
You spurned him.
You and Adrian.
the golden child, Mac Jones now.
Well,
I see Brady lying there in between them and smoking a cigarette. You know what I mean?
he does look very handsome with this. I want to just mention they really.
Does he ever not have
Chapter.
5-day growth? I mean, that's what I want
I
to
know
know.
he really got
Does he have
that
to
thing
shave 4
going.
times a day?
All right, so Handsome Todd goes to thrift shops, which we love, in Cambridge, and he found this, the former chosen one, the Jimmy G. I don't think this is a big seller ever.
Yeah, I know.
So
Second
In the
string never
gay
is.
community, it was a hot sell.
yeah, right, exactly. So if whoever's the worst predictor of Patriots games right now, moving forward, has to wear this the whole show.
Whoever wins or loses.
Whoever loses.
Well,
Right?
by the biggest margin.
Yeah, whoever loses, sure.
Well, you have to say
You have to
you
guess the
give a
game and the
single
score,
number.
right.
Patriots by 10 or Colts by 2. That way we have a
Yeah,
numerical scale
exactly
to
right.
go by.
Yeah.
He's done this before.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think he's.
I
made
have
it-
worn that shirt before.
Was it a Babe Pirelli shirt or something? Tony Easton.
Houston Antwine.
Houston. Oh my God, that's huge. I don't. He was a quarterback? No, running back.
No, he
Running
was
back.
a,
He was a running back.
lineman.
Oh, he's a lineman?
Yeah.
What years?
Oh, 60s.
Okay, that's before our time.
But he was all pro. I mean, it wasn't like he was a
Houston
slouch.
Antwine.
Do you remember him?
I remember the name. I don't remember watching
You
him
don't
play.
remember him, no.
I don't think I was
No,
born
the
yet.
60s.
No,
that was
you weren't.
before
I know.
you.
My only memory of 60s football is
That's always turned to you because we.
Yeah. I
Joe
wasn't
Cap
even
at
born.
Harvard Stadium in the rain. That's
Oh, my
big
God.
memory.
All right, let's get the predictions. JP's for his son. This is a big one for you. I just want to mention I already put $100 on the Patriots.
All right, let's go. Let's go 28-26 Patriots.
Are you writing this down, Handsome Todd? This is your
Todd,
job.
So
document.
Patriots
Patriots by
plus
2.
2. All right.
And you text us at the end. All right, 28-26 Patriots.
28-26 Patriots.
So they cover.
They
get the
cover,
2.5.
yes.
Wow. All right.
Win outright.
I just don't see Belichick with this defense losing. I think he's going to make Indy's quarterback beat us, and I don't think he's going to.
And Mac Jones come back at the end?
I think Mac Jones will maintain the team. I don't think that I don't think it'll ever be a big lead either way, and I think Mac Jones will do what he has to do.
Wow. All right, Russell.
Colts by 4.
Wow.
They're going to be down. Pats will be down by 11, and Mac will lead them back for a touchdown. But
Not enough.
I just don't
Not
see
enough.
I have inside
Wait, is this
information.
your first
I have
pick against
inside-
the Pats all year?
it. Yeah.
I have inside information that he was going to pick the Patriots.
But he saw your pick.
No, but he wants to wear this shirt so freaking
Trust me.
bad
Trust me. I don't want to wear that shirt.
that he's doing
We have to
this.
wear it during the show. The next show, is that what it is?
Yes.
Who
Okay.
wore
He-
it previously?
He's doing this. He
I think
wants
there's one
Trust me.
person here that wants to wear it. We all know who it is.
I think it was the
He's wearing
group.
it to bed
I
today.
think it was definitely the group.
I think Adrian got a new night shirt.
Adrian's wearing that today,
so
yeah.
they have eyeline on or something. This,
So what's your pick?
no, good Joe first.
Joe.
Oh, go with me. I like the Patriots, and the Patriots by 4. So
What is the score?
What's the
I'm
score?
21-17.
21-17.
So it's
Mine's-
4-2.
Yeah, I'm
minus
24-20 Colts.
This is totally Bill Belichick in what I'm going to say. He's going to throw 40 times this game because
Yeah,
he threw
that's a
3, and now he's going to want to have him put him up just to always make him think. They're going to win 34-13. The Patriots are the best team.
By 21. 3 scores.
I don't know if the Patriots.
I know who's
can
going to be wearing the shirt.
I think he wants that shirt.
Of course he does.
You guys, look. If you're
See,
a
I
bettor,
can't lose now because
if you're a bettor, you can get 2.5 points.
So you
Take
understand
out,
that.
if you own a home, take out.
But
a
you
home.
understand that if the Patriots win by like 5 points, you have to wear the shirt.
I'm just
No,
telling you.
I'm closer.
That's the only one
No,
I would
no,
have to
but-
wear.
No,
Five.
that's not how.
All right,
that
this is
works.
how it's going to work out,
You
guys.
don't get love.
Next Saturday
You don't
night.
get love for the team,
Are we
if
going
you-
by the point
This
difference?
how
Yeah,
it's
I'm
gonna-
going by the points.
No, that's ludicrous. What are you talking about? He picks
How
the-
else can you do it?
How else
That's
can you
not
do
how
it?
that
Yeah,
works.
that's how.
First
Yeah,
of
that's
all,
Joe just
the
said
fir-
that.
If three guys bet say the Patriots, and one guy says the Colts and the Patriots win, the guy who said the Colts loses. What are you talking about?
So have fun. Have fun. We're going to need Deloitte to account for this one.
I think we will have to go to the judge.
Right.
Who's that? The handsome one?
Handsome Todd, who obtained
Handsome
the
one,
shirt.
get over here for a second. You
Well,
have
we
to-
all know how Scotty wants to work out. He wants to hear next Saturday night about 10:30 at night. Yoo-hoo, Scotty. And Adrian's going to slink into the room with that on. You know what I mean?
We're going to have to take this offline.
No, Todd's gonna hold. He's the older.
He's kept the number 10 shirt because it's remained true.
That too, Joe. You had to go into these.
Scotty, you.
Oh my! No, Right now, I'm establishing it. No way. If you pick the winning team, losing team, you do.
All right, so
you
that
lose the
eliminates
bet.
you.
Of course that does. That's
All right.
ridiculous. Come on, that's 5 points. That doesn't even make.
Well, that's
All
what
right.
Joe just said, though.
Sense.
You know, I think
That
that's
doesn't
the
make any
fairest
sense.
way.
No, it's
That
not.
gives us one number
No,
to
that doesn't
compare.
even make any sense.
It makes a lot of
way.
sense to me.
It makes sense this particular day.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I can
If the
see both
Patriots
sides.
only won by 3.
I can see both sides.
See,
That's
this
not
is,
21.
But this just shows you Jimmy G breaks up families.
Yeah.
He totally
He
does.
breaks
why
up.
they had to
He
send him
breaks
to the
up
West
teams
Coast.
and coaches too.
You take Jimmy G for a while.
I'm just gonna
He's
gaze.
like-
I'm just gonna
All
gaze
right.
into his eyes.
He's like a Wayward kid's dog.
Do you think Shanahan kicks himself every night, getting talked out
Oh
of Mac
no!
Young?
Great point. Know who's kicking themselves? The Jets. So I read a lot of stuff this week about Zach Wilson. They had Skelton say they said this guy can't play at all. They said he may be the next Paxton Lynch. They said they're not seeing
that's
anything
not good at all.
that you could
But
grab
he has the
onto.
measurables, doesn't he? The
No.
arm, the legs.
He has a great arm, but he's not a big kid.
Coming
he's not,
out of Wyoming?
No,
Brigham Young.
Brigham Young, that's right.
And what pick was he in the draft? Second.
Second.
They said that this guy's a bust, and they can tell.
How do they go this wrong? All these.
They
scouts
know when they
and-
get amongst other professional
It was the
players.
narrative. The Jets fell for the narrative, right? The Jets, the Jets fell for, all the prognosticators and everyone built this kid up, and they just did what everyone thought they should do instead of doing their homework.
Shanahan traded up to 3 to get Mac Young, but he got talked out of
Mac
it
Jones.
by
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones, by the owner and the GM to take Lance instead. And that's why Young felt,
Okay,
Jones felt
if
was.
the Patriots had the second pick in the draft, who would they have taken?
I don't know.
Would they have taken Mac Jones?
Michael
It's a great
Parsons?
question. They may have taken. That's a great question. I don't know. They could have taken Jones. Maybe they wanted Fields,
Yeah, they may have liked Fields, right?
right? Maybe they wanted
But they
Fields.
definitely didn't like Trey Lance.
I don't see them
No.
taking Trey Lance. Yeah,
Yeah, that was not their style.
it's not the style.
That's
that they
amazing.
were.
These guys have been around the game the whole life. They have guys who have tons of guys pay tons of money to go and watch these guys play, and they go over thousands of hours of film, and they get it.
apples and
And
oranges.
I know, but they get it this run by this time after all these years. you would think
Quarterbacks are
that they can
50-50.
See what they're getting.
You don't get enough film on these guys. What do they play? 5 minutes a game? There's 5 minutes. There's 11 minutes of action in a game. Maybe 5 minutes of
you go
tape.
watch 'em
There's
throw.
more tape on a basketball player in a weekend tournament than there is an entire
that's a
career
great
of a
point.
football player.
So the knock on Mac Jones was the talent he was throwing to. I mean, it was off the charts good, right? So you're saying, well, how?
That's why they couldn't evaluate him very
It's
well.
also a system too, and don't sleep on the fact that NFL owners have more influence on what players are drafted than the other three sports
Oh,
combined.
yeah.
And I had heard that the San Francisco 49ers owner wanted that Lance because he wanted the next Patrick Mahomes.
Because he reads all the draft nicks in the
Yeah.
mock drafts, and they all had that Trey Lance was better than.
Well, the guy that Wilson was compared to most was Patrick Mahomes. So the answer
Yeah.
to why the Jets took him was probably because there was the narrative was, well, he's a Pat Mahomes player, can throw it from every angle,
Wouldn't you think that they go back? They go, who's been in all these Super Bowls? A pocket passer, Tom Brady. It's been in half the Super Bowls over the last 20 years. I mean, a pocket passer. You know, I mean,
Manning.
so why they seem to be getting Peyton Manning? Why are they getting away from the pocket passers? That's what
There's
I
not
don't
that many of them
they're-
left.
Because a lot of the more successful quarterbacks now are not the
Exactly, yeah.
pocket pass.
But
Deshaun
they don't. But they
Watson,
don't bring the ring home.
Russell
you know?
Wilson,
Pat Mahomes,
Patrick
well,
Mahomes,
Russ Wilson, Patrick
Lamar
Mahomes.
Jackson.
If you take Brady off the table, you could take
Scrambling.
Brady off the table and say, all right, who's won the Super Bowls? It's probably
Where
half
do we
and
put
half.
Aaron Jones somewhere in the middle there?
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great
he's
athlete.
He's a runner.
Yeah,
He
he's a great
extends
athlete.
plays forever.
Herbert is the real deal, though.
Seems like
Not
it.
against the Patriots,
Yeah.
The only team he doesn't do well is the
but he made a 65-yard pass on the run that was perfect.
I mean, to me, if you had asked me, Josh Allen, the guy for the Bills.
Bills.
I
What?
mean, that kid's a stud.
If he'd had Belichick's coaching,
put-
he'd be.
You put him with
Second coming.
Belichick, that guy would be the next coming.
Okay, thank you so much, Timmy, for this segue. I'm glad Who would you take right now? Josh Allen or Mac Jones?
Oh, I'd take Josh Allen.
Josh
all
Allen.
day.
Yeah.
Whoever Bill Belichick is coaching.
Yeah.
You would take Josh Allen?
No, I would take either one with Belichick. But since
Yes.
Jones is
Good
the
point,
guy,
Joe. Yeah.
Jones is the guy with Belichick. Now I'll take Jones.
I'd take Mac Jones.
Really?
I think he has a
Josh Allen's a much better
Runner,
in
thrower.
almost everything, and he's so much bigger.
Now, I don't know
He's
what's
a
going
big
on up
kid.
here with him, though. I don't know if he, I don't know if he has
He
the
tries
same.
to do too much. Is
Yeah.
his problem.
So could Belichick bring him into the fold?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa,
Oh,
whoa.
yeah. I
He's
mean,
like
look,
a wild stallion with all this
the
energy,
thing
Could Belichick rein him in
Yes.
and work with what he has?
Most coaches try not to rein him in. They want to let that.
That kid is a physical freak.
Athleticism,
I mean, if they
power.
had just let him run every fourth play against the Patriots, the Bills would have, I think, won that walking away.
He's as big as Ramondre Stevenson.
He's a big guy.
He's big.
He's fast.
He's 240 something pounds.
Runs like a deer, too.
Yeah.
Had McDermott done that game plan that he did for the Buccaneers against the Patriots?
Well,
is it
but here's the
that
mistake
job?
a lot of these coaches make, and McDermott's making it with him, and the Baltimore coach is making it with Lamar, and you go all the way down the line. Is they ask him to do too much. They don't build the team around him. Like what the Patriots are asking Mac Jones to do is what Mac Jones can do. It's what he should be doing.
Exactly, yeah.
And these poor quarterbacks like Russell Wilson and Lamar Jackson, you can see the beating that they take, and Josh Allen are being asked to do more than they should
Not
be
one
doing.
handoff in the first half. Not one handoff.
And they can have a career-ending injury at
Of course.
any time.
Oh,
Bill
just a matter of
Belichick would
time.
not have Josh Allen. The Josh Allen under Bill Belichick would not look like the Josh Allen now.
No, exactly.
He would not be throwing the ball 40 times a game and running for 100 yards.
He'd look like Tom Brady or Mac Jones.
Not one running back carry in the first half against Tampa.
He was getting pounded. That
Pounded.
whole game. I don't even know. I didn't hear. Is he going to play this week?
Yeah,
He was
he's questionable.
I mean, you got to treat that guy like a crystal vase. I mean, that's your franchise.
What you should do is you should treat him like Green Bay. I mean, what I would
They
say
have
the
decent backup.
Green Bay franchise has done well by Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers. Josh Allen is Aaron Rodgers by any other name, and it's rare that Green Bay has asked Aaron Rodgers to play like Josh Allen
They're
over the years.
planning 10 running plays a half for Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you're just asking for the stretcher to be pulled out on the field. These safeties, man, they got to beat on you. They want to decapitate.
Doesn't
these
matter how big you
quarterbacks.
are.
Shanahan's probably biggest regret was the RG3, where he kept running them
Yep.
when he was already hurt, and then
So
then he
tempting.
was done.
Well, it's a quarterback league, and it's pretty remarkable, actually, that Josh McDaniels is not a head coach right now in the NFL. He's going to get a job if the Patriots don't cut some kind of deal with him.
They might pay him more than. I bet you he's getting paid more than the Colts are paying Reich.
You know what I look at? In the scheme of things, the billions of dollars that go into an NFL franchise, what's a few freaking million here or there?
Well, especially being they don't have a cap as far as the coach
Yeah.
they can
You
pay.
can pay him anything.
So, I mean, they throw millions around like quarters,
Look,
you know what I
they,
mean? What's an
they
extra
are
4 or 5
accountable
million?
to each other. They want to keep
For
like
what,
a salary.
for what that turns into, if you win and you're successful, that turns into gazillions of dollars,
But what are they going to do? They already have a deal
This
with
is
Josh
the
in place.
year that he will get an offer from a team with a great young quarterback, and it's gonna be the put up or shut up time for Kraft,
Yeah.
and basically saying to him, probably to keep him, you're going to need to go to him and say, Bill's going to coach for 3 more years. He wants to break Schuler's record, and it's your job. And if you didn't get that promise from Josh McDaniels, and Chicago comes to you and offers you a prestige franchise with a top tier young quarterback, right? Or Jacksonville with Timmy's
Trevor
guy,
Lawrence, yeah.
right? Aren't you, at that point in time, if you're Josh McDaniels, would you take the bird in hand? But it's 3 years
If
down
I'm
the
Jacksonville, I'm giving away the farm to get Josh McDaniels down.
Absolutely. And now this breaking news from the Grandstanders Live Desk, because we've just got it going right now, is that the NFL has changed the rules that you can get interviewed for a job before the end of the season. So they can actually start interviewing Josh McDaniels. So like you
As
said,
long as it's transparent.
yeah, like
everyone
you said.
knows.
Well,
guys,
remember, you
put up
gotta,
or
but you
shut
gotta
up.
fire
No.
these guys first, though. You can't. I don't think you can. I think you have to fire a guy to interview him. I don't think you can go interview a guy out from. under
Oh,
a
okay,
coach,
yeah, well, that
right?
makes sense.
So you'd have to fire Meyer, to fire Gase, whoever else, right?
Which, if they think they can get an agreement.
Does Meyer make the season?
Is
No.
What's his name? the old Giants coach.
John
beat-
Coughlin.
Is he still
No.
the president down there?
No, he's gone.
You know, we talk about these announcers and everything. They build up the coaches, the players to be like godlike status. Oh, look at he works with children and he gives to charities and stuff. They're bashing Urban Meyer publicly.
Well, I
They're
think this field goal
flogging him.
kicker-
They're flogging him in
Timmy,
public
the field
right
goal
now.
kicker story, I think, gets him out the door.
Now that happened preseason. They kicked the guy.
Yeah.
Well,
Preseason.
they're all jumping on the bandwagon now. They're kicking him while he's down.
I mean,
there's stories are coming every day now, fast and
The
furious.
ESPNs, the Fox Sports.
Well,
they-
you know why
they're
they're
all
doing that.
competing to get a better story.
Oh, my
You
God.
know why they're doing that? The
To
owners,
grease the skids.
the owners paying that field goal kicker to talk now because they want to get him out of that contract so they don't have to pay him whatever 60, 70 million
See, I
dollars.
don't think the video is a big deal. I think the way he treats his players and his coaches are just.
Well, they can fire him now
Because of
and
the
not
video.
pay him because if he's
Oh, he
assaulting-
obviously broke some morals
assaulting
clause.
employees.
Also, with that video, I mean, making the franchise look bad. You know.
No, I know, but that
Well, that might hit the
Yeah,
that might
it's
hit
got
the
to be
level.
moral turpitude.
assaulting
Yeah.
assaulting employees. I would
Oh,
like to
that's
think that would-
absolutely. I mean, the
that-
police might get involved. Who knows? You know what I mean?
That would definitely get him. That should get him out the door. He's an embarrassment to the league. You know, when they've had these stories with like Daniel Snyder this week. I mean,
It aggravates me that he got this far in life. That's what a guy like that. He's the kind of guy I just despise.
He was national champion at Florida and at Ohio State in these seats of higher learning.
Is McDaniels the offensive coordinator for the Patriots next year?
I think that they would have to pull a Bobby
Do
Bowden
we
deal.
want him to be
a Bobby Bowden deal where they did that with Bobby Bowden? They said he's going to be for 2
So,
we
years.
want
yes
him
or
to
no?
be,
Is he
though?
going to be?
Junior.
I think he is going to be the offensive coordinator, but we're going to say that he's going to be coaching.
Do we want him to be the head
Of course, yeah. I mean, he brought along a rookie quarterback who hasn't played like a rookie quarterback since.
But
the
as an
New Orleans
offensive
game.
coordinator, Russell, not as head coach.
But if you want to keep the
Sure.
progress of Mac Jones, why would
Okay.
you let?
You know what's
Josh
just on my
McDaniels
horizon? Mike Vrabel. I would just love Mike Vrabel.
Well, you're not getting Mike Vrabel. Forget that. You're more likely to get Billy O'Brien
Well,
to
wait,
come back.
but we want Bill Belichick to be the coach of the Patriots next year.
Yeah.
Right. Oh.
And he
yeah.
will be until he breaks
Yeah.
that record.
And
Next
then
year.
maybe-
You know, I'm nowhere. The whole record thing, please.
I don't
say
care
anybody
about
gets
that.
sick.
My
Let's win
point
championships,
is
not records.
do we think that McDaniels is going to get an offer from someone that's going to cause him to leave the Patriots this year?
Yes, he will get an offer. Absolutely.
I don't think he's the offensive coordinator next year. I think he's going to get the job. I think he's going to get like the Chicago job.
What do you think the Pats? What does the head coach get now? $9-10 million a year, 5-year contract.
Supposedly Belichick gets 25.
And
Yeah,
what did the guy in Oakland get? Did he
10,
get 10
but
years at $10 million a year?
100
The
million, yeah.
Patriots
100 million.
coaching staff has been stripped.
So would they go
Fair.
up? Would they go up to $8 million a year for an offensive coordinator?
They know what they would have to do to keep the other owners, you know.
Oh, yeah. You don't
compliant.
wanna piss
They don't.
people
They
off,
don't want
right?
to piss them off paying coordinators too
Yeah.
much. They would have to make him the assistant head coach. Now they've had Dante Scarnecchia was the assistant head coach for 20 years,
And they paid him more then.
and they paid him more. You could do that with Josh McDaniels and give him more
Up
than
to,
say
what
more than
dollar are we talking, Joe?
I'd say $5 or $6 million more than Shad Khan is going to pay him.
Look, yeah, I mean, they're going to pay him. He's the
That
top
is fair.
candidate.
He doesn't have to uproot his family, his kids out of the schools and whatever. There's a lot of other considerations to it, guys.
The other thing is that the Patriots could do is if it's going to be too long, and if Belichick says to Kraft, "Look, I'm going to keep coaching, and and I'll tell you when, and it could be 3-4 more years." I don't think you can hang on to McDaniels for that long. The other thing you can do is let McDaniels go and just get him back in 3 years.
Josh
like if
might
you
start
think he's
to
the
go
next
stale.
guy, let him go coach Chicago for 3 years. They're probably going to get fired in 3 years anyways.
Get some
because it's
seasoning,
Chicago.
right? Get some
And
seasoning.
bring him back.
Yeah, Josh might
Yeah,
go
like
stale
I
doing
mean,
the same
but
thing.
we want
he
him
needs
now.
new challenges.
But we want him now with Mac Jones. We want him next
Sure.
year with Mac Jones.
I
Of
think
course,
if Bill
but-
Belichick wins the Super Bowl, that he might be more than willing to.
Yeah, I think Billy O'Brien would be back here in a
Oh, you see,
heartbeat.
Scotty, I think he wants to. I think he wants
He
to
wants
shove it
to beat
down,
that record.
down Miami coach Schuler's.
Yeah,
I
he
think he
does.
took that personal. I mean, Schuler went to the grave calling him Belichick. I think he wears that scar.
Possibly, but I think it's more important to him to see if he can get his son a job, a head coaching job, and that he's really building him up now, saying, Steve made that call at the end to blitz. and
We all
stuff.
know. We all know.
Right, no, but that's
Just
what
like
he wants.
the
Would you
Shanahans
agree?
and Kiffins and all the
The
others.
Shanahans, because they're very close.
Yeah.
He wants that whole Shanahan thing. He wants the heir apparent, the monarchy, and he wants it now. The only way we could get out of it is if the Giants, he take Steve
Look,
to
if
be the Giants.
they may, he may let at that point. Then he may let McDaniels go. He brings Billy O'Brien back, makes him the offensive coordinator, assistant head coach, coach in waiting. O'Brien's just spent the last year in Alabama. He's going to know Mac's whole deal.
All right.
You know, I don't think it's a disaster if McDaniels leaves, but I think he's been fantastic.
Belichick stashes coaches there all the time down there. Dayball, Billy O'Brien, that's where he stashes them.
The big thing is Belichick being there. That's
And obviously he's trending quite well right now.
we have churned through a
Nobody's
million.
asking him to go out the door
If
right
you
now.
lined all the assistant coaches he's had in the last 20 years, it'd make it to Brookline Ave. You know what I mean?
And nobody's criticizing his GM duties
Yeah.
right now.
He
with
did
the
have a
way
little
he
bad
set-
streak there, though, but it seems to have rectified
Yeah,
itself.
no one's been poached more than Bill Belichick's staff.
You could argue that he had the greatest offseason in the history
Incredible.
of the NFL, from the free
Preceded
agents
by
that
some
signed
bad ones, though.
To the but this offseason, from the free agent signings to the
Right.
draft.
So far, let's play this thing through to the end of the year.
Right.
Right.
No,
So
but
far,
if you
looks
took a
great.
snapshot right now, it was he's batting about 900 right now.
Yeah.
So far, looks
also
great.
some administrative stuff. McGrone, who was put on IR permanently for the year.
Yeah.
There was talk that he might be able
Ronnie
to come back.
Perkins has still been
But
active.
Yeah, these guys are all
Bledsoe.
backups.
We
They're
have
all
another Bledsoe.
they're all what Joe said. They're just in case of injury. Break glass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bring 'em back.
when the 21 days ends, if there's hasn't been an injury,
They're gone.
They're IR'd for the year.
Right.
But the 6th-round pick Bledsoe, who apparently had a lot of hype to him.
Yeah,
They
same
kept
thing.
him on the
Special
team. What
teams, like if a
position?
guy gets
He's
hurt,
safety.
He's
safety.
a safety.
Yeah.
But they're deep in safety right now. If
Yeah,
there's
they don't
any
need a
position
safety.
where they have some solid,
Yeah.
And Miles Bryant,
Yeah.
my guy.
So
plays-
going back to the draft, 2 years, Duggar was a home run, right? He was an
Yeah,
A
big
plus draft, right?
Absolutely.
Harris was
oh,
really
and
good.
Phillips was
Harris.
an A+
Yeah,
free
Harris.
agent signing.
Yeah. They got
He's
to
still can't draft a wide receiver to save his life.
I know.
Or
That
a
is the
DB.
Achilles heel, isn't it?
Well, he's picked some DB.
He gets
gets
him off the
drafted.
street, though. He gets him off
Duggar.
the street.
Duggar
Why?
was a
He's
DB.
more a safety, right?
Yeah.
You mean a
Well, Duggar was a safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cornerback. Yeah.
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 Yeah, we only pick up 3 free agents, turn them into all pros, and
I know. The Melvin
send them
Jason
off to millionaire
Jackson.
land. You know what I mean?
All right, we have to go to the Red Sox because we love them so much. First of all, when is this lockout going to end? Because I've had enough.
Probably April, May.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, why?
There's no impetus.
There's no thing that's forcing them to solve it. So
Yeah.
until there's a reason to solve it, they're not going to solve it.
about the season. You're going to shorten the season?
They don't care about shortening the season by 15 games, 20. Neither the players nor the owners were going to care that much about sacrificing a bunch of games in early April.
Well, I have to admit, those games in April are not too pleasant at Fenway
Not
Park.
too
I won't
pleasant.
miss them
If
too
they
much.
wipe April off the schedule, I'd pay them to do it.
Remember, our schedule started in June?
It was perfect.
I know. And we got all the prime games.
It was
we didn't have all
perfect,
this
man.
crappy. Yeah, sitting in Fenway Park in April and May.
my God.
This can be some of the most painful moments you'll ever spend.
I'm in
your
sales,
life.
and
I
I
think,
go to
I
offer.
think baseball's doing themselves a disservice.
Of course.
They're
no
not-
news.
They're out of the news.
Yeah.
They're irrelevant. No one's listening. No one cares.
Yeah.
When the season does start, they'll say, "What?"
You know how I can lose a customer is offer them Red Sox tickets in April. They go,
Oh,
I think I'm going to your competitor, Tim. You know what I mean?
Yeah, look, March Madness. So they lose that. The championship games in what?
A
early
nice
April.
rainy 44.
No hot stove league at all.
I know. A nice
We'd be
rainy
talking
44 degree
Trevor
night, you know what I
Story
mean?
And everything.
Yeah.
Nothing
No
like it at
promotion of-
Fenway.
oh.
44 degrees and drizzling. Nothing like it.
Third inning.
The pitcher taking 10 minutes between pitches.
You try the person you're with. You're trying to please say you want to leave.
Yeah.
Please.
No, I mean,
Let's go.
Yes.
Do you think this is
Fourth inning, let's go. You want to go? Yes,
No,
let's
think
go.
about it. Like, there's nothing to talk about. There's no substantive thing to talk about the Red Sox now. I don't even know who's on the free agent market anymore.
All I know is they've lost Erod, Ottavino, Renfro, a bunch of guys in Schwarber, and what have they added? A couple of has-been over-the-hill pieces of crap. Rich Hill.
Hey, that's Milton's own. Easy,
I know.
Come on.
Rich Hill was going
Come
in
on.
his time. And who's the other guy there? Wow, Walker.
Two prospects, Joe.
We got JBJ.
JBJ, worst statistical hitter in the base.
The albatross around the neck of
Worst statistical batting year in the history of baseball.
Is that right?
Yep.
The history of baseball.
Yeah, I really don't. I'm not really understanding.
Nowhere to go
The
but up.
Mendoza line is 60 points north of him.
Why did Heim have to rush doing
There
that?
is nowhere to go but up.
We wanted those prospects.
It's got to be the prospects.
He just wanted the prospects. He's probably going to deal your point that you
And
made
they-
last
and-
week. You probably
and
deal the
both-
prospects for a player.
I
And
know.
these prospects are never going to make the major leagues.
He's
but
thinking
he's got
it-
to stock the
No, he's
minor
gonna-
leagues.
Put him in there in the
He's
ninth
thinking
inning
of
in right
this
field.
as I needed to trade Renfro to get the prospects I needed. So I'm trading Renfro for somebody who we want more.
put
than
He doesn't
Renfro.
want to trade his prospects.
He doesn't
As
want to
many
trade
of-
his prospects.
Yeah, as many of those
Right.
of other teams.
Right.
He
He didn't want to sign Renfro to an $8 million contract, so he uses that to get prospects so he can deal other prospects or those prospects.
Do you think
for somebody
JBJ
better.
puts a Red Sox uniform on this year?
Yes,
I mean,
I can be a fourth or fifth outfielder.
Put him in the outfield when we get a one-run lead in the ninth. I mean,
25th man.
Well,
Very helpful.
he's kind of a luxury. to
love his
have,
glove. Love his glove.
Oh, yeah.
What a terrible contract Milwaukee signed him to.
And then we picked it up.
I know.
And he's gonna
Oh, I'll
play-
take that.
He's just a
The
guy.
worst in history.
He just felt like JBJ was coming.
No one,
back.
all the players we've ever seen, he was worse than all of them.
And he's always got that dumb look on his face after he swings at the high fastball every time. Strike three.
The man batted 186 and won the ALCS MVP.
The lowest batting average ever to
The
win.
hits he got,
Is
though,
that
were big.
2018?
Even pitchers
Yeah,
got
I
better
mean, he
batting
helped.
average.
By the way, he helped win them a World Series.
Oh,
I
yeah.
got no
I
issue
love
with like
JBJ. I
what part of the best team the Red Sox have ever put on the field.
best
Yeah.
team ever.
Right?
He had some timely hits.
So yeah, he won the ALDS, the
Yeah,
CS
ALCS,
MVP. So I'm like, I got no problem with
No, I
Jackie
like
Bradley
JBJ.
Jr.
I just
Come on, man. You don't want to see JBJ get
I don't
3
want him-
at-bats a game.
I
You
don't
know,
want
come
to
on.
see
I don't
like
want him
that,
with more
though.
than 100 at bats.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, he's not going to be batting against any left-handed pitchers, so certain stuff like that. So
He will
should-
never see a left-handed pitcher
You would hope so.
this year.
You would hope so. All right, we got to go to the
Well,
Celtics.
if the extra inning rules stay, then he probably never will.
Last few minutes, we got to go to the Celtics. Look, it's Jason Tatum's team. Anytime you talk about the Celtics, I think you always have to open with Jason Tatum.
He's playing better in the look in the last month.
He looked good with
He's
Jalen
playing
coming
much
back.
better. He's taking fewer bad twos. He's taking the ball to the rim more often. He's getting to the free throw line more often, and he's taking threes. You want him to take threes or shots at the rim. No more of those stupid twos.
Right.
Right? And he has been playing better. The team is not structured particularly well right now.
No.
But you see what happens when Brown comes back, and if they can,
I thought they played
they
very
played really well. It was the best version of them the other night.
Oh, against the Bucks, yeah.
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 A tired Bucks team.
Well, at least the
Ti-
Celtics had
The Bucks
good
won the world.
flow on their
Bucks
offense.
won the world championship
Yeah.
last year,
Giannis
and they have
was
the best
playing.
player on the planet.
But
and they were
something
helped.
was up because the bookies had it even. So there was something going on.
Well, you always have a home team advantage.
How many
got
times this
back-to-back,
year would
like
the
you
Bucks
said.
be
Second
even?
night of back-to-back.
Yeah,
The
back-to-back.
Celtics
How many
first
nights-
game after Brown was back.
All right, you rest
You
them both
should
for a
win
week,
those
and you put
games.
those two teams together. What would the spread be?
You
It'd be
should win
6.
but for the Boston should win a solid half of those games in that situation.
I think
Well,
the
that's-
In that
Celtics-
situation,
they should
the
win half
Celtics
those
have
games.
won for the last 5 games
Against Milwaukee.
All right, let's get to the brass tacks
So
here. Do we
it's
blow
not
this
like
team
a-
up?
an
Do we blow it
anomaly.
up?
I think you have to-
Schroeder gone.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's
Yeah.
not blowing it up.
Horford gone.
You should trade Schroeder. You should trade Richardson. You should get these kids more time. They're not trading Brown during the middle of the season. They're going to give Brown and Tatum the rest of the season to figure if they can work it out.
Yeah.
You don't trade Jaylen Brown in the middle of the season. That would be insane.
No, they're
Yeah.
not gonna do that.
Right?
And then you'd go back to the way it was the last 2 weeks where they were losing.
And then you see
8
what
out of
happens in the
10.
offseason. But you definitely trade Schroeder.
Right
and
now, there's
Horford.
2 untouchables.
I don't know if you trade. I mean, if
You
somebody
trade
gives you
Horford in
something
the
for
offseason.
Horford,
But what I'm trying to get to is it the hopes of a championship.
they're not going to win the
No, no,
championship
so-
this year.
So you do it then. You do Horford and
If
Schroeder right now.
somebody feels like
yeah, they
if a team feels like they're an Al Horford away from winning the championship and give you something good like the Warriors and give you a really good young player, you do it.
I
Did you
think
get
the-
rid of Marcus Smart to the Warriors?
But to match the money with Horford,
You got to take a lot back.
Yeah.
Andrew Wiggins back, and then you get another wing, and I don't know,
Yeah.
like
it's more likely Schroeder
it's
and
Schroeder and
Hicks
Richardson.
or Richardson and Picks.
Yeah.
someone who needs that specific need
But
to go a little
you
further.
asked the question. The hardest question that Brad's going to need to answer would be if someone gives him a good offer from Marcus Smart, do you take it? Not a
Yes.
great offer, just a good offer.
Yes.
Do you
I think
take it?
do. I think Udoka's going to be the one who tells Brad it'd be nice
Yeah.
if Marcus was on this team or off this team. Because Brad Stevens has feelings about. I think Smart drove Brad Stevens out of the head coaching position. I think he was happy to leave to get away from Marcus Smart.
Really?
Yeah.
See, Marcus Smart doesn't strike me like that.
Well, it's
I don't
He
know.
is-
I don't know.
He is a little full of himself.
Yeah.
He thinks he's the most important guy
Yeah.
out there.
all right. Well, that's a show, boys. That was fun.
That was fun.
That was good.
No Bruins.
Bruins.
No Bruins. Crappy
No
talk. How
Bruins.
horrible they are right now.
Bruins stink.
3-0
There was our
before
Bruins
I
talk
even-
for the game.
One
Let's
goal.
go.
It was by Bergeron.
Yeah.
I want to. We want to thank Corbin. Corbin has been here for a number of years at Big. He has helped produce our show over the years, always with a great attitude and a
Tremendous.
great spirit. And he's going on for bigger and better things. He's going to be a big shot now, and we
Yeah.
expect no less. And we appreciate everything
We
that
sure
Corbin
do.
has done, and we wish him the best of luck. And he's been a big part of the Grandstanders.
Well done,
Plus,
Corbin.
Knock
want-
him dead.
Yeah, we want to thank Handsome Todd for all his great work. We want to thank the fellas. We have 2 shows next week. We have
Yep, starting
a
at
special
6.
show. We share in our section.
Share an aisle.
In
we
the
share an
grandstands.
aisle with the Boston Globe writers. It's a writer. They have a number of group and
Not
one of the,
sports writers.
our 2 favorite guys is Brian McQuarrie.
Great
and
guy.
this guy Steve Kirkjian, and Steve, who's the cousin of Tim Kirkjian,
From West Roxbury.
who we've had on the show. Steve has a new book about the Isabella Gardner
Stuart Gardner Museum, yeah.
The theft. So we're going to interview him.
He's got some big inside info, Scotty.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's going to tell us who did it. And
I think
who
he
done
knows.
it.
I think he knows who did it.
Yeah, and he's going to ask Joe to go to his house and apprehend it.
Yeah, I think it was someone in Milton. Murph the Sir.
Wow.
They say he might have had something. Miles Corner might have had something
Yep.
to do with it.
All right, well, we have plenty to talk about, and then we'll have our regular
Remember they
show.
caught him under the porch?
His
Remember-
first stuff was 4 houses away from my house. He stole some art out of the Forbes Museum.
Remember to check out our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Wednesday night at 6:30 for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night. I'm Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night. The elephants are in town.
Here comes the circus.